Welcome back to Digiburst, guys. This is Armor versus Blue Hybrid. Blue Hybrid, of course, for the BT9 format with the Tommy hits. This will be the last match for the BT9 format because next week we are kicking off into the pre-release of BT10, which is super exciting to be out of this OTK styled format. And that's why I've been featuring more less orientated OTK decks like Hybrid and Armor here. I am on the right playing Armor and my friend on the left is playing the Hybrid. Removing the Buku is super important here so it doesn't get the memory gain off any tamers that might be checked in security, but they hit the Hammer Spark, which is lucky for them. Going into another Hammer Spark here into a Kuma stripping sources here. This is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for Armor because there are a lot of effects that are specifically countering Armor. Stuff like the bouncing effects and the source stripping directly counter the Armor effect for Armor Purging, which is extremely unfortunate for this match, but I will do my best to try to win it out where I can. But we're both starting off pretty strong. I've already done 2 damage and setting up a blocker here. He'll have to go into his Beowulfmon for the 3 cost passing turn, and I can just get in as many hits as I can with this Vmon and then into a Magnamon, hitting another Hammer Spark. It's a second Hammer Spark on my opponent in security. And just setting up a Davis Ken for next turn, so hopefully the turn after I can win once I push out a rookie, especially if I can get a jamming Vmon. This is also the finals for locals for the day, so both were undefeated until this round, and the winner will of course take whatever packs they want from the prizes. Booster having a look at top 4, grabbing the MagnaGaruru, really interesting card. A new boss monster for the Blue Hybrid deck. Now that there are some hits from Tommy. So we got the Vmon with the Hammer Spark. I need to do a big play here, hopefully threatening lethal, while of course dodging my opponent's lethal here too. Mega Death bouncing back to level 5. So hopefully he won't be able to go into that level 6. He'll go into the level 4 Kendo Garuru. This one has jamming, if it has a hybrid underneath, I believe, and then into a Beowulf, so the Beowulf will gain the jamming as well. So Beowulf will punch with jamming, he'll get the draw off the Demi Vmon, and the Beowulf can bounce back a hybrid to bounce back a Digimon. And now, in order to avoid the obvious lethal here, he has to play the blocker Leomon, giving me 6 memory, which is a lot to work with. I can still go for lethal if I can see the Lydramon to hopefully suspend Leomon here. No Lydramon unfortunately with this search, and I am missing it in my hand. So bit of a struggle to go for lethal here. I have to go for a more defensive option, going into the Flamedramon to try to punch over the Beowulf. This will force him to use his Leomon to block and then gain back memory and a draw from it. Super solid advantage from his side, and then I'll just play a Vmon to put him on the 3 memory since he already has a Davis on board. There's a Lydramon that I was looking for, but now it's in my hand and hopefully I can set up for next turn, and unfortunately I do miss the lethal because of the Leomon play. You can punch with the Beowulf, return the Vmon and I'll Armor Purge to keep the Vmon on board. Punching with the Beowulf, returning the level 4, returning the Vmon and hitting the stack. There's another Lydramon that I needed, and then setting up a Leomon. I'm not threatening lethal at this moment because I'm not pushing out any Digimon, so the Leomon might have been better off to save for when I'm threatening lethal, but I do just remove it with the Mega Death there. Punching with the Beowulfs, and then unfortunately passing turn with the surprise Ice Wall. I push out my Vmon, gaining a memory, hit with the Vmon. It's got jamming, so it'll live, and then I can Evo into the Lydramon that I got, and then punch for game, having it unsuspend with the Davis Ken. Super solid game 1. It was definitely an uphill battle, especially with the Leomons that my opponent had a surprise for. Both of us starting off pretty well with rookies and tamers, and then a memory boost from him. Looking at top 4, probably going to grab that Korikaku so he can go over the Koji next turn. I'll gain a memory and then punch with the Vmon. Got jamming, so it lives. No level 4 to go into over the Vmon, unfortunately, but I do grab that Largemon there from the Vmon search, which I can go into right now, passing turn and unsuspending with the Davis Ken. This will hopefully keep it alive, but he does have the memory to go into a potential Beowulf play, especially if he pitches this booster. It's probably more optimal for him too, since he will be gaining memory back with Koji. So he does find the Beowulf, he can attack, bounce back the Kuma, and hitting. He gains back the memory with the Koji, and then into a Leomon here. Leomon punching into security, drawing off the Upamon. I'll get this option here, the yellow option. This lets me go into a Magnamon from any of my armor evolutions. As long as but it just comes to hand and would bring back a Magna if there was one in my trash, but there's none in my trash. So I'll go into the Magnamon here. This has a pseudo blocker effect, but it doesn't have the literal word blocker, which is interesting. He'll punch with a Korikaku, not realizing the effect, and I just tell him to read the card, and he accepts the misplay and takes the L for that one. But he can go in the Koji, using the Koji effect, putting 5 hybrids underneath. He can Digivolve into his MagnaGarurumon. MagnaGarurumon will bounce back a level 6 to bounce back my level 6, and then of course gain back 2 memory. Very lucky of him to have exactly 5 hybrids plus 2 of the MagnaGarurus. Absolutely crazy on his side. I wasn't expecting that at all. Hitting him with the Vmon, I'm now on a very bad back foot. It would have been even worse if he kept the Korikaku on the board. I have to bounce back to level 6, and hopefully he can't bring it back now that he's lost all the materials for it. Hitting in Strabi, and then revealing 3, hitting the Davis, living. He'll use a Hammer Spike to gain back memory, then find the MagnaGaruru again, bouncing back a level 5 for no cost, for no effect, and then hitting in with Strabi. Revealing a Hammer Spark, it would have been extremely deadly if my opponent didn't hit the Hammer Spark, because he would have also got the Magna hit, and then eventually, and then potentially unsuspend with the Magna effect, maybe. I'm not 100% familiar since I don't play the deck, but I think there might have been potential for that. Strabi hitting in the last of the security. I'm gonna have to put in a lot of work to remove 3 security, then hit for game. I'll need a Fire Rocket, I think. But I do have some memory to work with 4. Hitting in with a Vmon. Living with jamming. I can go into the Magna. I'm trying to draw into the Fire Rocket. Suspending with the Magna effect, it's really big. I can punch. Revealing Davis, which is really unfortunate. Davis is the worst thing that could hit, because they can easily go into a Beowulf to bounce back things. And then Ice Wall into another Magnamon X. This will force him to punch into it, but if you can remove it with... Oh, there is a removal level, cost 7. I forget its name, sorry. Breath something. But yeah, that is really bad for me since I no longer have field presence. I need to have a hybrid in order to draw into something to push, but I will just scoop that out because I have no defenses here. We'll move on to game 3. Vmon, I'll start off into Davis Ken, perfect opener for me. They'll got the Davis, having a look at top 3, getting the Korikaku. He can either up his nursery, but he's got no rookies for it. Buku looking at top 4, no Tamers unfortunately, but he will get the MagnaGaruru. I'll push out my Vmon to gain back memory, hit into with the jamming, into a Lydramon, suspending the Buku and then hitting over the Buku. This was an excellent play. But unfortunately I don't have rookies to gain advantage from passive plays. Kumamon here stripping a source. I did have to play the Lydramon. He does have the Tamer, so it was alright in terms of memory, but it would have been nicer to have more passive play and getting searches. Beowulf removing a bunch of guys off my board, but I keep the Vmon. I can punch with the Vmon here. It's got jamming, unfortunately hitting a blue memory boost, I can go into a Digimon unsuspending by tapping the Davis can, hitting again. No fire rockets, unfortunately, and no rookies either. Really unfortunate that I don't see a rookie, because tempo is extremely important for this matchup, especially against a deck with high tempo and stunning with like a blue hybrid here. And at this point we are called time. So we are in an incredibly stressful situation, even though we're super early in this game. There's one of the fire rocks going to the bottom of the deck, unfortunately, which is what I need when I'm in a stressful situation in time. Seeing 2 Davises isn't bad for me though, starting off at potentially 5 memory if he keeps this Digimon here. But he is threatening some really wide boards here with the Magna, especially bouncing back the Digimon, unfortunately, so I won't gain back lots of memory. And then he'll gain back... no, he decides not to bounce back the Digimon. Oh, he needs exactly level 4. He didn't have it. I do find the rookie with the Vmon going into a Magna X for defense. If he has a way to bounce it back, then I have to follow it up with another defensive move. But it'll be difficult for him to go into it. So I decided to try to choke him on 1 by going into a rookie here. Spoilers, sorry. I was debating going into a Mega Death or not here, and removing his Magna, but that might potentially give him too much memory, and if I give him back the Magna in hand, he could potentially go into it if he has a level 5 Beowulf for easy 1 cost over the Korikaku. So, really interesting play here. He'll go into the booster, getting back to, and then Kuma stripping a source out of the Magna. This means that he can't redirect effects, redirect punches into it, because he doesn't have a armor underneath it. Beowulf, the only thing that can save me right now is a Hammer Spark, because he can unsuspend the Magna, and that's it. That's game. I wish I could talk as fast as we play here, but we are in a very particular way going about it. If you like this one, guys, definitely check out the rest of my videos. I got plenty of BT9 already on the channel, and I'll have some BT10 coming up very soon this week. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.